Welcome back to Wrestling with Power. Mr. Mosley here. I can't talk today.
Slick
Joined as
Vic here,
always.
and I can speak.
He can speak. I can't. I'm just going to, you know what? I'll bow out. You just go ahead and do the show yourself.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy you can join us, and I'm going to turn it back to Mosley.
I really thought, I should just let you do the intro for a change just to see if anybody notices.
Shall I run with it here?
Well, I already did it, but yeah, if you want to, go for it. Go for it. Let's give us your best intro, Slick Vic. Hold on, let me give you a bell. Let me give you a bell. Hold on, wait. Rewind.
You know what that sound is. It's another episode of Wrestling with Power, starring Slick Vic, and joined again by the most excellent
Mr. Mosley.
Mr. Mosley. How are you doing on this lovely evening?
I'm doing fairly well, Slick Vic. How are you today?
Peachy, so to speak. It's fall, rolling around. Halloween's coming around. It's always that most wonderful time of the year. But, we got a lot of wrestling to cover tonight.
There was a lot of wrestling this week.
Yeah. Before we talk about some other silly little gimmicks or silly little indulgences. Well, actually, maybe I should have talked about my gimmick right here. I got a little thing I can bring up right about now. This is... Tell me if you recognize this, by the way. I don't know if you can recognize this.
That is... Jesus. A vampire, right?
Yes, it is. It's the vampire.
Yes, that is Dracula.
Yeah. It's particularly...
From Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That's the one. Gary Oldman. Yeah.
Gary Oldman. That's what I... Every time I think of that guy, I think of The Fifth Element, and I can't remember his name.
Yeah, this is his Prince Vlad form.
Yep.
Yeah, so when he comes back, after traveling oceans of time to be with his loved one, he becomes Prince Vlad and changes into bats, werewolves, and all sorts of stuff. And it's a fairly mostly faithful adaptation of the book, other than the whole love story that's put in. But hey, the love story gets a lot of love from certain people, and
I thought that movie was great. I've never read the book, but I love the movie.
Yeah, very, very stylish, very gothic. It's directed by Coppola. Coppola did Godfather, amongst a lot of other classics. And it really shows here. It's just a lot of good direction, very good gothic scenes, and well acted as well.
Speaking of which, you've seen the new Nosferatu movie, correct?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen the old one, the original, like the black and white?
I have. Yes, there's a 1930s one, and there's also a 70s version too.
I've not seen that. I didn't even know about that.
Yeah,
you know what I get him mixed up with sometimes? The vampire from Salem's Lot.
Oh, okay. Now that I haven't seen. That's Stephen King, but I have not seen that movie.
That one's pretty good.
Okay, I should put that on my list.
What did you think about the new Nosferatu movie?
Oh, I loved it. Thought it was fantastic. It was such a great, I almost want to use the term fever dream, but it's just super stylish.
Yeah.
Very, very stylish. It was just incredible to look at, especially the scenes in Orlok's castle. Good shit. It's good shit.
Did you know that was really Skarsgård's voice?
Yeah, he took some throat singing lessons or something.
I don't know what he did, but that was apparently his real voice.
Man,
I thought that was crazy.
He's got quite the horror resume now, between playing Pennywise and Nosferatu. He was even I'm trying to think. I mean, he was the Crow in the most recent Crow, which nobody wants to remember now, I guess.
I didn't watch it. I don't think I will.
I don't think I will either. There's another horror movie character. There was a movie called Barbarian. He was in. He wasn't the villain in that movie, but he was in it. But yeah, that was a spine tingling one, if you will.
Haven't seen that one either, I don't think.
Okay.
Barbarian.
Yeah. Not to be confused with, the Barbarian from The Faces of Fear. in WCW, or even Barbarian when he was in WWF. You know who I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, don't worry, you will. All right.
Oh man, Slick Vic. So we have, like we said, we have all kinds of wrestling this week. SmackDown from the 10th. Crown Jewel was this past Saturday on the 11th. And then, of course, Raw just a few days ago on the 13th. Crown Jewel, the big pay-per-view, a.k.a. PLE this month, sorry. How'd you feel about Crown Jewel? In a nutshell, give us a nutshell, Vic.
I mean, do you
review
want my opinion on the show overall, or do you want me to gloat about something else?
No, we're not gloating just yet, Slick Vic. You can wait on that.
Top to bottom, I thought it was great. I thought it was a really, really good show.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I did too. I thought it was pretty solid. I thought it was a pretty solid PLE. Yeah. Yeah. Surprising. I didn't think it was gonna. It over. What's the word I'm looking for here, Vic?
Over delivered?
It definitely over delivered. I think I'm looking for exceeded my expectations. Though we'll put it that way. I won't say over delivered, but I will say exceeded my expectations. So
for sure, because I was not looking forward to this at all, because I'm like, these belts don't mean anything. This is just, side quest nonsense. But
yeah,
I was really, really impressed by the matches. And I will say, I was going to say something else about the. This was better than WrestlePalooza for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, absolutely. Which we'll talk about more about Crown Jewel here in just a moment. Vic, did you notice that I too have a gimmick today?
What is that?
Well, of course, you have the white strapped winged eagle belt that I have back here, which I always have.
I see that.
There's a little guy back here hanging out. This is my zombie raccoon.
Nice. Does he bobble?
He doesn't do anything. He just sits there.
Okay.
But half his body is eaten away. Yeah.
All right. Is this a Halloween decoration?
Yeah.
Does he light up?
He just sits there. He doesn't do anything. He just sits. This was a too expensive Halloween decoration for Spirit Halloween.
Okay. Very nice.
That's my gimmick this week. Zombie raccoon.
Ly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus.
Yeah, or Resident Evil, Raccoon City, Zombie Raccoon.
Yeah.
It's all making sense now.
We're coming back to it in part 9.
That's true. I wonder for how long, though. Oh, it's coming to the Switch, too, as well. Part 9 is. Happy about that. Do you want to talk some wrestling, Vic?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I guess we will.
I guess so.
Why don't you take off with the old SmackDown review, sir?
All right. So, SmackDown coming at you October 10th, 2025 from Perth, Australia. Now, did you watch this live? We are in the United States.
No.
Me neither. But
I watched it Saturday night like I would normally watch a PLE on a Saturday night is about the time I watched it.
Are you talking about SmackDown? You watched SmackDown?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. No, SmackDown. No, I didn't watch SmackDown live either. No. I watched it like 2 or 3 days later.
I mean, I pulled out my phone for a couple minutes while I was at work just to, see what's going on. But I didn't watch the whole thing obviously until later on that evening, like normal time I would.
Yeah, I like being in the routine when it comes to wrestling. So if they put it on at a weird time, even if Raw comes on an hour early, I don't watch it until the time it's supposed to come on.
Okay. So the show starts with a very long opening package with the Crown Jewel titles being transported to Australia. Okay. A little over long, but sure. Normally these packages, I'm going to put over some of these packages later, but I'm like, do we really need this 5-minute long package of the belts being transported?
I was hoping that they would make new belts because the Crown Jewel logo from last year, it was gold and green. This year it was gold and blue, but they kept the gold and green aesthetic of the belts, so I wanted them to make new belts with the proper color scheme. It's
Okay.
kind of bummed they didn't do that.
Well, after that, we have the show proper with Cody Rhodes coming out for a promo. The commentary says Seth has a confidence crisis. Good alliteration there. The crowd is hot for Cody. They're singing his name like usual. Cody asks, "What do you want to talk about?" Seth Rollins. Yes, he says his doom and gloom outlook on their match. And Cody says he might be Seth's Achilles heel. Cody says that Seth hates the quarterback moniker. I think he says QB moniker. But Cody says it's a nickname and a shared nickname. I disagree. I think it's a good nickname. Cody name drops a bunch of wrestlers to illustrate his point that other wrestlers can immediately step up. The fans I'm not going to go through all the wrestlers he name drops, but the fans start chanting Seth's a wanker. I don't know if we talked about this last time when they were overseas, but I haven't heard the term wanker used this often on a wrestling show. Makes me think of Shaun of the Dead or something.
I think a lot of them didn't really know what that means.
Luckily, they had Wade Barrett there to translate, and he picked up the mic and translated, they're saying Seth is a wanker, and then I immediately understood it because Wade said it, and I understood it. Anyways, even then, Cody comes back in and says he's trying to be serious here. Cody reiterates that he is the one that Seth cannot beat. This was a lot of fun. They were just having a ball with the crowd. The crowd was really just, I don't want to say they were taking over, but they were letting some stuff dictate the promo, and it was fun. Cole and Wade are having fun. The crowd is having fun, so I'm having fun, which is all I need to say about that. Any thoughts on this opening segment?
No, I'm pretty much in agreement with everything you said. I thought, about the package, I already kind of gave my thoughts on that. The only thing I could think of was, why didn't they just make new belts? That was my whole thing. But yeah, the video packages are always awesome. The segment, I thought it was good. I thought it was a decent way to start the show.
Okay. So backstage, Chelsea Green tries to recruit Stephanie Vicaire to join the Secret Service because she would never ask Tacky Time to join. And then Tiffany shows up and Chelsea leaves. Steph and Tiffy exchange words of encouragement and leave. So we still don't have anyone that accepts the job in Chelsea's Secret Service. Any idea who might join that Secret Service?
I haven't even thought about it.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody will?
I think somebody coming up from NXT might join it. Maybe somebody gets some exposure. Whoever's due to get called up. Maybe JC Jane whenever she drops that NXT Women's title.
Yeah.
Maybe.
What about Jordan Grace?
I guess that's a possibility, but
I see her as more of a yeah, she is. I see her as more of a leader too than somebody who is going to join up in a group. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think of people that what. I guess maybe she is on the main roster now, isn't she? Did she get called up to the main roster? She's still on NXT.
She's on NXT. They had this NXT versus WWE or NXT versus TNA.
TNA, yeah, Showdown.
Yeah. And it's funny because Jordan was the special guest referee, and she had a very lengthy career in TNA, and she just came over less than a year ago.
Yeah.
And they had her officiate that match, which I thought was kind of a good touch.
Well, that's what, I was thinking that she's not been used very well since she came over. She was the women's champion in TNA. She was big news. She was coming out at the Royal Rumbles and stuff for WWE, and then all of a sudden she's doing nothing. I don't know. Maybe that's a topic for another time. Sorry, Vic. I didn't mean to drone off.
No, you were fine. So, time for the U.S. title, U.S. Championship Open Challenge. It is answered by... Wait, because there is a Cody and Jacob Fatu promo that we have to cut to before we see who accepts the challenge. Jacob says he's got nothing but love for Cody, after Crown Jewel. You know what's popping with me. And Cody says, good. Nick Aldis wants to talk to Cody in his he wants to talk to Jacob in his office, but Drew jumps Jacob. And then we're back to Sammy. The match is answered by Shinsuke Nakamura, complete with his original theme. I was surprised by that. I did not expect that one. So cool.
Right.
They trade arm drags, kicks, which are both reversed. The crowd is cheering really hard for Nakamura. Nakamura takes control with some kicks. It's a sliding German suplex while Sammy's hooked to the ropes. And then we go to break. We come back, and Sammy looks like he's on offense, but Nakamura hits a suplex, followed by his "come on" taunt. Nakamura hits some more of his patented strikes. Sammy comes back with a nice springboard leapfrog and a huge clothesline, but before he can capitalize, they trade some more counters until Nakamura hits the double enziguri kick that he does. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if they have a name for that, where he misses one kick and swings and hits this other boot.
Yeah.
So Nakamura loads up the Kinshasa, but Sammy counters to a Michinoku driver for a 2 count. Sammy hits the exploder in the corner. He loads up a Haluva kick, but misses. Nakamura hits a Kinshasa from the second rope, but Sammy kicks out. And then we go to break. We come back, and Nakamura hits a Kinshasa or a running knee to the back of Sammy that knocks him out of the ring. Nakamura goes after him and gets gets an exploder and a Haluva kick outside the ring. And when they get back in the ring, we get another Kinshasa, but Sammy gets his foot on the ropes. Nakamura loads up yet another Kinshasa, but is pulled out of the ring by Tama Tonga, followed by the rest of the MFT, who beat up Sammy and later on also beat up Nakamura. So I thought this was a good match. I like the back and forth action, which is really a big part of my enjoyment for this, because I hate to see just one-sided fights and then just Sammy hits a finisher and wins. So I thought this was a good back and forth match. I could have done with less Kinshasas, as I feel that finishers should be more protected, especially since Nakamura just came back. And I agree with you on something, Mosley. You brought this up recently, that the breaks are starting to get annoying. There was what, maybe 2 or 3, there were 3 breaks maybe this match. I can't remember, but we talked about this earlier. We weren't watching this live, so we were able to skip through the commercial. We were able to skip. I didn't even have to like use my remote to skip through the commercial. Just kind of like faded to black, then faded back in. But even that just kind of takes some of the momentum away. And I was fine with the DQ ending because Tama's back, and I dug the MFT's new look with the face paint. So overall, decent, good stuff. A little bit better than decent. What say you, Mr. Mosley?
Yeah, me too. I mean, I thought it was a pretty decent match. I love seeing Shinsuke back because I thought he was gone. I thought he was on his way back to Japan or something. Like, they acted like he was done. I mean, he's been out for so long. I don't know if he was actually out due to injury or whatever, but like, it seems like the last thing I read was that he was out because he was done. So, yeah, I'm happy to see him back. Hopefully they do something better with him this time around. But, yeah, as far as the match goes, thought it was pretty solid.
What'd you think of the ending with Tama Tonga coming back in the MFT? Any thoughts there?
Well, I believe I said on the last episode that they're just going to bring him back and it's going to be the same thing. Obviously, it wasn't. They got face paint. So... And I think that the face paint is actually a carryover from something they did in Japan. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's maybe how something that they were doing over there. But yeah, you know what? I'll give them another clean slate. Clean slate for these guys.
Okay, that's fair. I'm with you on that too. Let's see if they do anything with it. All right, so backstage, Nick Aldis tells Drew that the match between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu is official. Jacob Fatu then shows up and they have another brawl. So that match, I believe, is going to be next week. I don't know if they actually announced the actual match. So who knows? And then we have a tag team match with Stephanie Vicaire and Tiffany Stratton teaming up to face Julia and Kiana James. So Kiana starts the match, extending a handshake to Stephanie, who doesn't accept it and gets kneed in the stomach for it. Stephanie hits a back suplex, and we immediately get the Devil's Kiss, which, according to Cole, is one of the most fascinating moves in WWE today. Wade pleads the fifth, saying he doesn't want to get in trouble for what he said last time. I don't even remember what he said. Oh, actually, I do remember what he said. Do you
And he
remember what he
wanted,
said?
yeah, and he wanted to smooch with the devil's kiss.
You know, I kind of agree. I'm gonna have to side with Cole here. Just it is a very fascinating move. I look forward to it every week.
Yeah, the technique is impeccable when it comes to the
Yeah,
devil's.
yeah. It's very unique. Anywho, I got sidetracked there with all the silliness. Julia gets tagged in, and we go to break. Julia tags in Kiana for some shoulder tackles. Then Julia comes back in for a missile dropkick. Stephanie responds with a jawbreaker and a super kick and tries to tag, which I swear looked like the babyfaces had to ease up because they could have easily tagged, but Tiffany was just too close, or the heels were just too far or too late to break it up. Regardless, Tiffany does get the hot tag like seconds later, and immediately afterwards hits a springboard back elbow, a spine buster, a series of reversals. Julia comes in and hits the Arrivederci and the Northern Lights bomb, but Stephanie breaks the count. Kiana comes back in. We get the Alabama slam. Wade Barrett says Tiffany's athleticism is just a cheat code in this game. Stephanie Vaquer comes back and hits the butterfly suplex to the knees. Not sure of the name of this move yet. And Stratton comes off the top to Julia just as Tiffany tags herself in and hits the prettiest moonsault ever for the win. All right, match. This did what it was supposed to do and make Tiffany and Stephanie look good before their match tomorrow. So, I got no major complaints, but it wasn't, it was decent. It was not didn't blow me away or anything. They almost, what's the word? Spilled their load or something.
What?
Or, they came in hot with the Devil's Kiss, like literally like 30 seconds of the match, the Devil's Kiss was hit, and that's kind of like, all right, well, what do we look forward to next? Oh, we'll see the prettiest moonsault, I guess.
Okay.
I think I botched my metaphor there, but
I think you're jumping the gun a little bit there, Slick.
we're live, pal.
Yeah.
Anyways, any thoughts on this tag team match?
I said a few weeks ago, Julia is becoming one of my favorites. I still maintain that I'm really looking forward to what she does going forward, and even what she's doing now. I'm so impressed with her. But I thought it was a good match, and I'm glad that they put her in it with Tiffany and Stephanie. And it's like you said. Other than that, it's a phrase we like to use around these parts. It's run of the mill. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Quick backstage segment. Sol, Ruka, and Zaria get their tag match against Charlotte and Alexa. It's made official. And then we have the Street Profits versus the Wyatt Six. This is for the WWE Tag Team titles. And the match starts off fast and furious. The Street Profits take control with a series of back body drops and flapjacks. Dawkins runs Gacy into the barricade outside, and then we go to break. We come back. We have a double blockbuster onto the Wyatts, which look pretty damn good. And then Nikki Cross makes the save, which causes B-Fab to get involved. Montez Ford dives out onto Eric Rowan. Dawkins also hits Eric Rowan with a dive. Back in the ring, Wyatts hit Tez with the Plague for the win. This was okay. This was also really short. Possibly felt like it was cut for time. The Profits felt like they were on offense for most of the match, but the end, when the Wyatts hit their finish and then win. The most exciting part, though, is what came after the match. The MFT showed up, which got a big pop out of me because I totally did not expect to see the MFT here. I'm sure even you were like, whoa, what are they doing out here?
Yeah.
Anyways, what I was going to say about that, though, was that, the crowd's already chanting, "This is awesome." And I only wish that when Solo Sikoa got in the middle of it, that Uncle Howdy showed up. Instead, we had Nikki Cross get in Solo's face. And that was enough for the MFT to make their exit. And, we'll see where they go from there. What say you, Mr. Mosley?
Well, in particular, talking about that ending, this was the coolest thing that the MFT's done in a long time because I think that, and to echo the sentiments of the crowd, it was awesome. People have been wanting to see this rivalry for a while, these two factions go head to head, and here we are getting to see it, especially at a time that the MFT is coming back. They sort of got a fresh coat of paint, so to speak. Face paint, that is.
No pun
But
intended.
no pun intended. But like I say, I'm excited to see where it goes, man. And I'm giving the MFT a clean slate here, and hopefully they can capitalize on it. I am pumped to see this, though. I think this was one of the bigger highlights of this episode of SmackDown.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Although there is the very end, which I thought was kind of cool. So we have a backstage segment with The Miz, who's big mad at Carmella Hayes for breaking up with him. You know, nobody dumps The Miz. Then The Miz says Mello missed. And then he was mad at Kathy for not wishing him a happy birthday because she's not a good journalist. And then we get a video package on Aleister Black and Damian Priest. Good stuff as always by the WWE. Good little recap. Which brings us to the main event of SmackDown, which is Aleister Black versus Damian Priest in a last man standing match. Crowd is immediately chanting. We want tables. Priest starts things off, knocks Aleister out of the ring. They fight outside. Priest hits Black with the steel steps, and we go to break. We come back, and Damian is still in charge. The steps are in the ring now. Aleister Black counters a move, and it's a Mortal Kombat sweep onto Priest, who lands face first into the steps. I think I said that last week or whatever, but I'm going to call it out every time because I swear to God, it's like he pressed back and low kick, and Priest went right in face first into the steps. Then Black hits a Meteora onto Priest onto the steps, which looked pretty gruesome. Not gruesome, but hard hitting, so to speak. Stiff, if you will. I should mention that after most of these big moves, the ref starts to count because this is a last man standing match after all. Priest recovers and hits a snake eyes onto Black on the steps, which are now sideways. We got a Razor's Edge, which is countered, a moonsault outside that's countered, and then Black sunset flips Priest into the steps. And then we go to break, and then we come back, and both men are in the ring with kendo sticks. Priest loads up the old school, where he walks on the ropes like The Undertaker. But then him and Aleister start trading kendo stick shots while Priest is still up there on the ropes. And they both go down, and then we're back fighting outside. Black grabs a chair, but eats a choke slam onto the apron and a Razor's Edge onto the announcer's table. Luckily, all Black had to do when he heard the count of 9 was just roll to one side and get his feet on the floor, and the count stops. But then what was funny was Priest basically does the same exact thing. It's another Razor's Edge onto the announcer's table, and Black just rolls to the side to get his feet on the floor. Anyways, they make their way to the like a staging area of the crowd where there's tables, cables, and equipment. There's a hard hat there. Priest suplex Black onto one of those high tables, and then out comes Zelina Vega. Shows up and pleads with Priest to stop. Black tells her to leave us. Let us fight. Black then tells Priest to go ahead and finish it. So, in my mind, I heard the whole Mortal Kombat announcer going. Priest winds up, but before he can attack, let me see if I can pull this up right here. Bear with me for 10 seconds. So Priest loads up his punch, but before he can wind up and deliver, Aleister Black throws a fireball onto Priest, followed by the Black Mass, which sends Priest flying, and that's all. He can't answer the 10 count. So I thought this was a pretty good match. Some really good high spots, and the best part was the fireball. When done well, it looks amazing. When done not so well, we get Hogan versus Warrior from Halloween Havoc 1998.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed this match. Thought it was a good hard hitting match. Some good stuff. Fireball for me. Put it over. What about you?
I love the fireball spot as well. I love the kendo stick spot. That got a pop out of me. I thought it was kind of hilarious. I've been kind of vocal about these two in the past, Vic, where I'm kind of tired of seeing them, but at the same time, they do put on pretty damn good matches every time they have them. I wish that there would be something to happen, and I know Zelina Vega coming out and all that was sort of a big deal, but I want there to be some kind of progress other than every single week they're running into each other and just fighting. Like they just can't get out of each other's business, and it's when you look at it that way, it's sort of boring in a way. They have great matches, but I think that the story is kind of boring to me. Don't know if you agree on that. I mean, I could probably watch a match of theirs every week and not be bored of the match itself, but the fact that they're just sort of stuck in this rut is...
No, I feel like the feud has kind of run its course. Hopefully they move on again. They move on to something else. This was a last man standing match after all. It's like, what are they going to top this with? They're going to do a Hell in a Cell match?
Hell in a Cell. I said they should have done that a month ago.
What is our next PLE? It's
Survivor Series, isn't it?
Survivor Series, yeah. So there's going to be a War Games match there. There's not going to be a Hell in a Cell. So I don't know. Hopefully they both move on to other endeavors, so to speak, but not in other companies. They're still in the WWE's endeavors, is what I'm getting.
No, I think that they could definitely get some mileage out, and I mentioned this on a previous episode. Put them in a tag team together. Why not? Put them in a tag team together. Let them kick other people's heads off for a change.
Well, I don't know about that, but I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to it, but we'll see.
They need to build that. They could have the WWE on both sides, on both shows, could have a spectacular tag team division. And I think that there are certain things they can do. This might be one of them. To have a good team out of Aleister Black and Damian Priest. I mean, we've seen them fight. We don't need to see them fight anymore. I want to see them fight other people or do other things, but how do they move on from this? I don't know if there's been closure. Like you said, it was a last man standing match, but I don't know if that is closure. They either have to have a big payoff, like we said in a Hell in a Cell, or just say, you know what? We're going to team up, and we're going to beat up other people for a while.
Okay. Well, thus concludes the 10-10 episode of SmackDown. Not giving it a 10 out of 10. I meant October 10th, just so we're clear.
You wouldn't give that episode a 10 out of 10?
Nah, I'd give it about maybe...
How many stars would you give it, Vic?
Stars? Well, let's see.
Slick Meltzer over there.
Man, maybe 2.5, 3, maybe. That's being generous. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe 3. You know what? 2.5 isn't a bad score. It's really not.
But I'm not using stars today. I'm using vampires or some 2.5 vampires.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that enthralling SmackDown review, Slick Vic.
I am so glad you enjoyed it, but I cannot wait even more to hear your thoughts on the next event.
Well, the next event, we're going to tag team this event. You're going to take a few matches. I'm going to take a few matches. Before we get to that event, though, we're going to take a little pause for the cause, if you will, and be right back in just a few moments. Stay tuned. We're back. There's Slick Vic. There he is. He was wandering around for a minute. We're moving on to Crown Jewel Perth. This is Crown Jewel 2025, obviously, because that's the year we're in. And this one is coming to you from Perth, Australia. If you're in the United States, it was bright and early at about 8 o'clock in the morning, I believe. And fuck that. I wasn't up for that. I don't know about you, Vic.
Nah, it was 7 a.m. for me in Central Time.
Yeah, I waited until later that evening when I was done with all of my daily things, and then I could sit down with a bottle of beverage and enjoy my PLE at nighttime. But Crown Jewel Perth, obviously the big matches on this card are the men's and women's Crown Jewel Championship matches. The two top champions from each show going head to head to see who the better man and woman is, or are, or however you put that. But before we get there, we have a few other matches to get to. And while we do this, last week, as some of our regular listeners may know, we had Slick Vic's picks for Crown Jewel Perth. And if you tuned in to episode 12, you will probably already know that it was a fairly successful night for Mr. Slick Vic this time around. We'll give the rundown as we talk about the matches, but I think that Vic has a big old smile on his face over there for a reason. So, the first match of Crown Jewel in Perth, Australia was Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. This was billed as an Australian street fight. They had a little promo last week where Paul Heyman was talking about how Bronson Reed was so famous for these Australian street fights from wherever. I don't know, some bullshit. I don't know why they had to throw that in. But anyway, this match they mentioned was going to be an Australian street fight. So I was thinking that it was going to be similar to the Donnybrook match and have some themed elements of Australia laying around the ring. There was none of that. It was just a street fight, I guess. So let's go over the match here. Again, no themed gimmicks. Match starts. Reigns fires off on Reed in the early going with punches, running him into the posts. Before clotheslining him outside of the ring, both men are outside. Reigns hits a drive-by. Then they fight into the crowd, then back to ringside. Reigns pulls out a cricket bat and then a rugby ball that he chucks at Paul Heyman. Then they head back into the ring, and Reigns starts working on Reed with that cricket bat. Reed gains a momentary upper hand, but Reigns takes the kendo stick that Reed grabbed from under the ring and starts wearing him out with it. Reigns grabs a mic and says, "Perth, if you want tables, acknowledge me." So the crowd was chanting tables, and Reigns was playing into that a little bit. Reed, having time to recover during all of this, attacks Roman and puts the table that Reigns started to get out from under the ring back under the ring. The assault continues. Reed eventually tosses Roman back into the ring and grabs a couple of chairs. Reed sets a chair up in the turnbuckle in the corner and uses the other to work on Reigns. Reigns eventually gets the upper hand again, delivering a multitude of clotheslines to Reed against the ropes. Reigns goes for a Superman punch, but gets countered into a jagged edge by Reed. I was kind of surprised by this, that he hit that. I don't even know if you'd call this a finisher. I mean, it's definitely a signature move of his at this point. But I guess the finisher is still the Tsunami.
Yes.
Bronson Reed finds a stop sign from somewhere and gives a couple shots to Roman, followed by a Niranagi for a near fall. Reed charges at Roman, but avoids it, sending Reed into the chair that was set up in the turnbuckle earlier. Reigns follows up with a Superman punch that connects, but he only gets a 2 count. Braun Breaker shows up and spears Reigns on the outside while Reed clears the announce table, then powerbombs Roman through it. Similar fashion to the Shield from a few years ago. Had a little help getting up there. Inside the ring, Reed sets up a beefy, spicy Slim Jim table in the corner, and we hear the music of Jey Uso hit before both Usos head down to the ring. The Usos take down Bronson Reed, then Braun Breaker to even the odds. Reed pushes Jimmy off the top rope before the Usos can follow through with a double Uso splash. Then Breaker heads ringside to spear Jimmy through the barricade. Reed climbs the turnbuckle but gets met with 2 Superman punches from Roman. Reigns then focuses on Breaker, who is trying to enter the ring. while Jay charges a spear at Reed, who moves out of the way, causing Uso to spear Roman through the table in the corner. Reed follows up with a tsunami to Roman and covers him for the win. Wow. Post-match, Roman chews out the Usos for getting involved and tells them he doesn't want to see them until Christmas. Thoughts on this? The crowd was heavily in Roman's favor for this one. I thought it was a very solid match. We knew it couldn't happen without interference, but I feel like the odds were evened enough until the missed spear by Jay that cost Roman the match. So this was, regardless, a huge win for Bronson Reed, and hopefully they capitalize on this by making the Bronze Tag Champions and restoring that division to its former glory. I've talked about this multiple times, Vic, until I'm blue in the face, until you're probably tired of hearing it, but I definitely want to see these guys really lean into their tag team future that they could have. And obviously they're going to be good, big stars on their own, but I really want to see them as tag champions and give that division something to chase. What were your thoughts on this match, Slick Vic?
This was a fun match. I had a lot of fun with this one. First, I want to say it's better than their WrestlePalooza match. This was some good organized chaos. First of all, I just wrote down some of the stuff that I thought was great. Some of it that popped me. Some of it that looked good. Roman Reigns throwing the prime bottles at Bronson made me chuckle. You got to stay hydrated. When Roman grabbed the cricket mallet, have you ever seen the Ninja Turtles movie?
Yes.
The original one, remember?
Yes.
Raphael and Casey Jones have that scuffle. Mm-hmm. Casey Jones pulls out the cricket mallet. He's like, cricket? Nobody understands cricket. You got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
Yep. I love that movie. I love the original.
Yeah, me too. But that's originally what I thought about when I saw the cricket mallet. I'm like, oh no, nobody understands cricket. And anyways, Roman grabs the mic and does the whole acknowledgement thing, and then Wade Barrett's like, well, it was unanimous. It was not. I can't even talk.
Spit it out, Vic.
It was unanimous. That's what
there
it was. And when Roman Samoan dropped Bronson through the chair, he crushed it. Like the chair was like a pancake afterwards. I was like, good Lord. Oof. And then I like the crowd was chanting "Read the sign" when Bronson was hitting Roman with the stop sign. So overall, a fun match. I had a blast with this. And tell me, who did Slick Vic pick to win this match? Remind me again.
Well, Slick Vic, you will be pleased to know. Hold on. Give me a few seconds, and let me find the appropriate sound for this one.
While you do that, I will continue to talk about Slick Vic's picks for this match because,
all right.
I thought about this very well. I consulted the crystal ball really deeply, but like I said, the crystal ball always has the right answers, and it's telling me that Bronson Reed was going to win this match, and who won it?
Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed took the W, and for that, Slick Vic,
he got a bicycle. He got a bicycle from somebody.
He got a stop sign. That's what he did.
He got a bicycle. No, I'll tell you what. We're going to go back to the classic one here. Probably my favorite soundbite ever for the W for Slick Vic. On a serious note, let's give him a woo! Good job, Slick Vic.
Thank you very much. Shall I cover the next match?
Absolutely. Go for it.
All right. For the Women's Crown Jewel Championship, we have Stephanie Vicaire versus Tiffany Stratton. So the match starts with some chain wrestling to start the match. And then Tiffany offers a handshake, but Stephanie kicks her. But Tiffany catches it. And Stephanie stays on offense for a bit. Tiffany comes back with a springboard elbow and her Alabama slam. Stephanie replies with a corner dragon screw and the bullet train knees. Tiffy hits a suplex to the knees, and Stephanie counters the prettiest moonsault ever with a back suplex. And we get the first Devil's Kiss attempt, which is countered. Tiffy goes for a swanton, but that's also countered with the knees up. And the Devil's Kiss is locked in and hit. And then after Stephanie hits her SVB, and Tiffany kicks out, which I was actually kind of surprised by. I don't know if anyone's ever kicked out of that yet. Tiffany comes back, hits the prettiest moonsault ever, or goes for the prettiest moonsault ever, misses. Stephanie goes up and hits that corkscrew moonsault that she pulled out last month and gets the win. Good match, short but sweet. I think it was the perfect amount of the perfect length. Both wrestlers look good. Stephanie keeps winning big. The moonsault needs a new name. Wade Barrett even said the same thing. My wife threw out the name about the descent to hell.
Yeah.
I mean, better than just keep saying corkscrew moonsault, I think. You got to come up with some fancy schmancy name.
What did she say in my Inferno or something like that?
She said that on Raw. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
that would be a cool name for it.
I will wait in my infierno.
That would be a cool name for it.
Yeah. Okay. El Infierno.
Yeah.
Anyways, so what's it called? Let me get your thoughts, but then I want to ask you something about this afterwards.
Well, I liked the grappling in the beginning. There was lots of back and forth. Each woman got to show off their chops. The Devil's Kiss, obviously, as always, had the crowd rolling. I thought Tiffany had it with the prettiest moonsault ever, but the corkscrew splash, a.k.a. whatever it's going to be called going forward, by Vaquer, secured the victory, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a fantastic match. And, there's a reason that these two are at the upper echelon of WWE. There's a reason why Tiffany's the women's champion and Stephanie's the world women's champion. I think that this match was all the proof you need as to why they are the top dogs of the company. And regardless of who won, and I'm happy that Stephanie won, don't get me wrong, I think that she deserves it. This match was a good indication of why these two women hold the top titles. And, couldn't be more deserving of this spot. And one of the best matches of the night, I thought. It was short, but it was great.
What I was going to say was Stephanie definitely had more to gain winning this match than Tiffany. But the commentators were talking about this, and I even thought about this myself recently, where it's like in 1 year she's won 4 belts. And, sometimes when you push someone too quickly, especially a babyface, the crowd starts to turn on them. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, is Stephanie getting a bit over pushed? But I don't know, because the crowd is still really, really firmly behind her. Do you get any inkling that she might be getting over pushed?
I think that she is getting pushed. She may be getting over pushed, but it's hard to say. I mean, she really is. What else are you going to do with her? You going to have her squander in the mid card? As good as she is, you've got on Raw you have the Intercontinental Women's Championship as the mid-card title, which is taken up by Becky Lynch right now. They're not doing anything with it because she's holding it. What else is she going to do? I mean, even if she did take that step before taking the next step, I don't know. It's sometimes... You're right. Sometimes you can be over pushed. The crowd can turn on you. But sometimes when you're white hot, you got to pull the trigger. And they've missed the mark on several other superstars when they were white hot, when the crowd was firmly behind them. LA Knight's one of them that I can think of. And now I think that they're doing the right thing with her. If the crowd turns on her, who cares? She turns into a heel. She would make a great heel. You know what I mean? So I think she's got that going for her, that she can pretty much go either way, and she's going to be great either way it goes.
Yeah, it's I agree, because it's like if a person's white hot, pour the gasoline on her, and it doesn't look like she's going to burn out anytime soon because the crowd is firmly behind her. I don't know if turning her heel, I don't know if you can turn her heel anytime soon, because I mean, even even when they turned Rhea Ripley heel and had her join the Judgment Day, she was still getting mostly cheers. Even when, she had Dominic Mysterio to absorb all the heat. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It's really hard to hate Rhea Ripley, I felt, and I feel like it might be really hard to hate Stephanie McCare.
Yeah, same. But in that same vein, if Rhea turned heel, who cares? People are still going to cheer. People are still going to love her, even if she's doing heel things or babyface things, because she's good enough to be able to do that. So,
yeah,
it's. I don't know who to compare it to, but I think they get away with it either way, and they don't really have to change their character all that much.
Like, what about Jey Uso? Like, could he still come out and be yeeting and would it be appropriate for his character to still be yeeting if he ever turned heel?
No, I don't know about that, because I think Jey Uso. Look, I'm not real big on Jey Uso. I'm not. I'm not. I don't think that. I could go on about him for a while, which I'll save you the time, but I'm not very sold on him as a main event guy, even though he's main event Jey Uso. He didn't sell me as the world champion. I don't think he sold many people as the world champion, and I think there's a reason why he's not the world champion now. Why they moved on from that. He had his Kofi Kingston moment, and he's a crowd pleaser. He, everybody wants to yeet and do the dance and things like that. If they take that away from him, what does he have left? What are his other strong suits? I don't think he has many. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it's not that he's bad in the ring. He's good in the ring for what he does. But he doesn't have anything else that's holding him up other than his yeeting, his running it back. And, that's it.
Okay. Well, not quite the side rant I was hoping to get, but very well said.
That was not what was you hoping to get then?
I was just trying to compare, like, say, Stephanie McCare or Rhea Ripley turning heel, and the crowd's not booing them. Would Jey turning heel, would the crowd start booing him?
Well, yeah, and basically what I said was, I don't think it would work the same. So in comparing Jey to Rhea or to Stephanie, if Stephanie or Rhea were to turn heel, I don't think it's going to matter, because I think that they don't have like a dance or some kind of weird taunt that they fall back on. They fall back on everything else. Their in-ring work, their character. They've got... People just love them for who they are. I'm not sure people love Jey for who he is without the yeeting, without the dancing.
The Devil's Kiss ain't going to get booed anytime soon. I don't care what.
No, it'll never get. But no, it'll never get booed.
All right. Well, let's move on to the next match. I don't know how you want to call this one. Do you want to?
I think.
Can I tell you what I did?
Before you do that, Vic, I think you're getting a little bit ahead of yourself, because I think you had a pick that we need to talk about in this one.
Oh, well, I'm so glad you paused me there.
Yeah, because, well, I have to, we have to take a moment to acknowledge the Oracle and give him his chops here, give him his props and his chops.
I was kissed by the Devil's Kiss for this match, wasn't I?
You absolutely were, and you smooched with the Devil's Kiss, and for that you get a... Woo! Wow, you are a solid 2 for 2 so far, Vic. You're doing very well. The next match, though, you mentioned the next match. And I think what we should do here, if you want to go over the match, and then we'll kind of... there were a lot of instances in this match, Easter eggs, if you will. Throwbacks to other people and finishing moves and things like that, and fun stuff. So if you want to cover the match a little bit, and then I'll go down my list of things that I noted from this match that I thought were interesting little Easter eggs. How about that?
Okay, all I have are the Easter eggs. I don't have play by play for this match because I feel like the Easter eggs, the tributes, so to speak, are the
Play by play. Yeah, for sure.
Let's see. I'm going to count how many Easter eggs I got here. I got one. I got 13, I think.
All right, let me see. I got 8.
Okay.
All right, give us your list, Vic.
All right. Well, let me just give you my review. Let me just say quickly, I love the match. I thought this was a lot of fun. This was a great tribute to wrestling. I believe Cole even said that as well. It was a lot of fun. I haven't had this much fun watching a wrestling match in a long time, and it was so much fun.
We're not giving stars. We talked about this, and we've not decided quite yet what we're going to call it. But spoiler alert, before too long, we're probably going to start rating these matches. And I'm going to give this match 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5 libations for Mr. Mosley.
Same here. 5 out of 5 vampire bats or Draculas.
It was a perfect match, if not damn near perfect, well enough to get an A+. It was fantastic.
This match almost kind of exists in its own bubble, though, because like if I was to rank my favorite matches of 2025, this would certainly make the list. But it's different because it was more like a really like a greatest hits.
Yeah, like a best of. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I got one complaint. That STFU Cena locked in on AJ looked freaking horrible.
No.
Like almost worse than ever.
Okay.
Did you catch that or no?
I didn't catch that. No, I'm going to go back and watch it, though. So it gets a 99% out of 100 then.
Okay, so we got a skull-crushing finale by Cena. We got a scorpion death drop by AJ. No mention of Sting. The Accolade by Cena. The Coquina Clutch by AJ. The Walls of Jericho by Cena. Sister Abigail by Cena. I almost thought he was going to go for a rock bottom there with the way he held him first. And we got Angel Wings from AJ. Deadeye by AJ. Rope DDT. Followed by an RKO. Followed by an attempt at a punt. And we got an AA by AJ to Cena. And AJ did the You Can't See Me taunt, which was countered by a choke slam from Cena, which was delivered similarly to how The Undertaker would. The crowd chants 619. Cena loads it up, but AJ clotheslines him before he can hit it. We get AJ tuning up the band and successfully hitting Sweet Chin Music. At that point, Cole even says, "Is there any moves left?" And then finally, the icing on the cake, which I thought was done flawlessly, a tombstone pile driver followed by an AA from Cena to AJ for the win. Wade Barrett said it pretty damn well. He's like, this is like when you make your own character in a video game and you just give him everyone's finishing move, but this is real life.
Yeah.
So I counted 3 AAs from Cena, which has got to be a record low, and one Styles Clash. Yeah. One Styles Clash by AJ.
I think you got most of everything that I got, too.
Okay.
And then some. So you covered pretty much all of it. I don't know if you mentioned the Accolade. Did you mention the Accolade? Okay.
I did, yeah.
The Walls of Jericho?
Yep.
Let's see. Styles Clash, Cena hits a Sister Abigail, and the Fireflies come out. And there was a nice shot of Cena once he realized that the Fireflies were out. A little emotional moment there.
Okay. I didn't have that written down, but that's cool.
He did, yeah. He noticed they were out, and he, kind of, you could tell. He had it on his face. The Sister Abigail, Cena hits, I put it as vintage Randy Orton DDT, followed by RKO.
It sounds better than rope DDT, which is what I wrote.
No. Undertaker style choke slam, sweet chin music, tombstone pile driver. So yeah, you hit all of them. You got everything that I got.
Any like final thoughts about the match in general?
You know, like I say, this was this was the best match of the night, I think, by far. Yes. I think that the women's Crown Jewel match was really good, and maybe even second. The men's Crown Jewel match was pretty good, which we'll talk about in a moment, but this was definitely the match of the night. This was up there with the best John Cena matches ever that I can remember. And, you know, coming in right after, not right after, but he had, you know, his match with when we talk about like WrestlePalooza and Brock comes back and there's very little build. They try to bring up the history of it, but Brock's not there to actually build the match. He's just like looking for Cena and he wants to beat him up. And then they go out there and Brock crushes him and there's very little emotion in it. It's just like Cena's like, and walks off. And that was it. You got to wonder what the booking was for that, because Cena has these great matches. He has, what was it? Was it a street fight that he had before that, or was it like
before the Brock Lesnar match?
Yeah.
No, he just fought what's it called, Logan Paul, right? And just a normal match.
But no, before that one then.
Yeah, the Cody match was like some kind of hardcore,
it's like a no DQ or something like that with Cody. That was one of the best Cena matches that I had seen in a long time. So that one, and the Logan Paul match wasn't bad either, but it wasn't nothing to really remember, especially when stacked up against the Cody match, and now this AJ Styles match. So
yeah,
just great. Just a great match. This is the match you want to show your friends who don't like wrestling. You know, this is the match that you want to brag to people about as to why you're a fan of WWE. It was incredible, and we can talk about it all day, but at the end of the day, you just need to go out and watch it yourself. It was the best match of the night. It was one of the best John Cena matches, and again, it was a highlight reel. You know, it wasn't John Cena versus AJ Styles 100%. It was John Cena and AJ Styles taking inspiration from 20 other people. But
yeah,
it was great. And I can only hope that his remaining matches live up to this caliber, because, you know, in the past 2 to 3 months, he's been having a hell of a run this last go around. So
yeah, definitely rebounded from that heel turn.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
well, Slick Vic, did you have a pick for this one? I know you did, because you had a pick for all of them.
Yeah.
What was your pick for this one?
His name is John Cena.
Woo!
You are 3 for 3, my friend. Good job. And that reminds me, I did think of something that I was going to try to find. And I'm going to actually look for that right now if you want to go ahead into the next match.
Yeah, sure. All right. Following that magnificent match was the tag team match between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane. So the match starts some back and forth action until Io and Asuka face off. They trade several strikes and counters, lots of screaming. Io does a really great-looking suicide dive onto Asuka. But then the heels take control on Io. At one point, Asuka surfboards Io's head, which looked, very mean, so to speak. Then slaps the taste out of her mouth. Asuka's been doing a lot of slaps. It's like Stephanie McMahon, circa 2000, 2001. Or maybe even sooner than that. I don't remember. But anyways, we get some good old school heat where the heels taunt Rhea into coming in. So when Rhea does, the heels gang up on Io while the ref is distracted while holding Io back. The Kabuki Warriors trade some stiff-looking spinning back fists. Then Kairi hits that stupid corner stomp onto Io. I don't know how many times. This is like a weekly thing, man. We need a soundbite for every time that stupid freaking move comes up. I detest that damn move. You know how much I hate it. Okay. And then Io starts hulking up, like for real. Like starts no-selling Asuka's attacks and finally makes the hot tag to Rhea, which blows the roof off the place. And then Rhea cleans house. She hits clotheslines, drop kicks, a shining wizard. A razor's edge is countered into a head scissor takeover by Kairi. And Asuka hits Rhea with her own shining wizard. Rhea comes back with a big boot, a successful razor's edge. A tag to Io gets the missile drop kick. Kairi hits Io with an Alabama slam. Io comes back with a second rope arm drag. The heels slam Rhea into the steel steps. Io gets back on offense and hits the bullet train knees and over the moon salt onto Kairi, but it's broken up. Rhea loads up the riptide, but that's countered as well. And then Rhea hits a spinning back fist for her troubles and an elbow drop from Kairi, but Rhea makes the save. A series of reversals from everybody, and then in the end, Kairi saves Asuka from a huge boot by Ripley, who then hits a riptide, tags in Io for the over-the-moon salt, and the win. Well, I thought the match was good. Superb, even. If it was
Superb.
Superb? Actually, I should say it would have been superb if it was a little bit longer, if it was a little less, if it was shorter. I felt like after the hot tag to Rhea, they could have gone like maybe 5 or 6 minutes more instead of like an extra like 12 or 15 minutes, because it did start to feel like a bit too long. Like it was just, all right, counter, big move, okay, heat spot, counter. I'm like, you know, I don't know. I felt like it was losing momentum towards the last quarter of the match.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like I said, good match. Would have been superb if they cut like 5 or 6 minutes out of the match. And I thought I don't know if I predicted this last week, but I thought Kairi was going to get misted at some point because Asuka missed it at the other two girls, and I thought maybe we might get some miscommunication, but I was surprised we didn't get the mist at all. Anywho, enough of me ranting. What did you think about this match, Mr. Mosley?
Well, I'm gonna make it short and sweet. I kind of thought the same thing. I thought it went on a little bit too long. I know that you had some predictions a while back that this was going to be the big event where Rhea was going to go for the championship, and didn't really happen. But I think that she got this. This has been a good feud that's been building for a long time, and I think that this was a good match to have in this environment for her. I thought the Kabuki Warriors did great. I thought Rhea did great. I thought everybody did great. And I tell you what I wanted to see. You said you wanted to see Rhea, or you said you wanted to see Asuka accidentally missed Kairi.
Yes.
I wanted to see Rhea missed Asuka. I wanted to see Rhea pull out the poison mist and hit Asuka in the face with it. That's really what I wanted to see in this match. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, but you know, it was a pretty good match. I would say that all things considered, it probably wouldn't be in the top 3 best matches of the night, but you know, it was pretty good.
Check the chat for a second on Riverside.
Okay. What about now, Slick Vic?
Try it again. Let me hear you.
What about now?
No, it's still
well, technical issues. They do happen from time to time. Let's see if we can fix this problem. All right. You never know. You never know when things are going to go south.
You're good now.
Sometimes you just gotta unplug and plug back in, and that's what we did. So, I said what I said. Basically, with the match, I thought that the Kabuki Warriors did great. I thought that, Rhea did great. I don't think it was among my top 2 or 3 favorite matches of the night for sure, but I think it was good for what it was. Rhea is in this feud. They're finally culminating the feud with this match in Australia. Rhea gets her big pop from the crowd. They go over. Everything's good. But I wanted to see Rhea pull out the poison mist. I wanted to see Rhea hit the mist on Asuka. Her own version of the poison mist. That's what I wanted to see. But, either way, Vic, I thought it was a decent match.
Okay. Why don't you take away the main event?
Before we do that, we need to talk about your pick for this match, Slick. You keep forgetting your picks this week. You were so excited about your picks, and now you can't even remember.
Oh man, I was trying to, I was trying to be a little more humble this round with my pick for the tag team match. Trying to be a little more humble, but
sure.
Since you want to, indulge me.
Woo!
Yeah.
There it is.
4 for 4.
4 for 4. 4 Loco. Slick Vic has taken it away this week. Boy, oh boy. I got something special for you, Vic, here in just a few moments, but we will talk about the next match really quick because we got to get through Raw as well. Men's Crown Jewel Championship, main event of the night. So this was Cody Rhodes, the WWE Undisputed, I don't know why they still call it that, champion, versus Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion. So we get several minutes of back and forth grappling, with Rhodes getting the better of each exchange. The crowd is calling Seth a wanker and chanting for Cody Rhodes heavily. Cody continues getting the better of Rollins. Eventually he kicks him out of the ring. Rollins starts talking shit to Michael Cole, but Cody comes out and slams his head into the announce table and then clears it off. The two men eventually get back in the ring, and Rollins finally gets a streak of offense on Cody. He lands a sit-down powerbomb, but he only gets a 2 count. Seth does a Stardust taunt to Cody while he's down for some cheap heat. Then starts to fire away with left hooks, left punches, whatever you want to call it, a la Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. But Cody fires back with some lefts of his own. Seth slaps a figure 4 leg lock on Cody, but Cody rolls over to reverse the pressure on Rollins. There's some more back and forth. Cody hits a vertebreaker on Rollins. I loved that. Followed by a bionic elbow, a suicide dive to the outside, and a Cody cutter. Out of all of this, he only gets a 2 count. Rollins hits a pedigree for a 2 count, then a crossroads of his own for a 2 count. Cody attempts a top rope Cody cutter but misses, to which Rollins follows up with a pedigree and a stomp, but still only gets a 2 count. Seth heads ringside and grabs the WrestleMania 40 watch that Cody gave him, and he hides it in his tights. Seth catches Cody on the top turnbuckle and stomps him several times as Cody hangs in the Tree of Woe. Rollins then climbs the opposite turnbuckle and flies across the ring, hitting a coast-to-coast headbutt to Cody that looks like it may have caused some real damage to Seth's shoulder on that landing. Seth hits a crazy Spanish fly on Rhodes, followed by what looked like a rock bottom, but only gets a 2 count. Cody then hits a massive crossroads from the top turnbuckle, but amazingly, Seth is barely able to kick out of a pinfall. Seth then wraps the watch around his fist and punches Cody in the mouth when Cody goes for another crossroads. Seth then follows it up with a stomp off the top turnbuckle as Cody is getting to his feet and pins him for the win. Main event, Slick Vic. I, thought that this match was okay. I'm not going to call it, a 5-star match or anything because it was sort of slow to get going, and then when it finally did get going, it was sort of a high-spot match more than anything else. But I can say that I'm glad that Seth picked up the win. I think that Seth needed this win considering he's lost every single other time that he's faced Cody Rhodes, and the World Heavyweight Championship needed this win over the WWE Championship for a change. So I think it kind of boosts that title up to where it's expected to be, and I'm happy with the result. What do you think about it, Vic?
I don't have a lot of notes for this match because I remember the vertebraker. I got down the coast to coast headbutt, that top rope Cody cut where they were both on the top rope looked really good. But and then I remember the ending with the belt with the watch and then the stomp for the win, because this match just kind of felt a little slow. And to me, now it's like a blur. I was listening to you give the play-by-play. I'm like, oh yeah, that happened. Oh yeah, that happened too.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this just kind of felt like a blur, and maybe a little too many libations were reached at that point. But
it was the main event.
Mm-hmm. But I thought it was an okay match. I wasn't like too bored, but at the same time, it was a blur because.
Libations. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt there, Slick Vic, because when I first watched it Saturday night, by this point I was gone. So none of these notes happened on Saturday. They happened earlier today when I went back and rewatched this match.
Okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
Maybe I need to do that as well, but I will not be doing that now. Another show's in the can.
Fair play. I did not get these notes. Well, for this match, the rest of my notes, they came from Saturday. But, by the time the main event rolled around, I don't know where I was. I was somewhere else. But, Slick Vic, what was your pick for this one?
Well, I believe it was a visionary, a revolutionary, whatever his other nicknames are, but I chose the architect of the Shield, Seth Rollins.
Woo!
And Slick Vic, that gives you 5 for 5 on Crown Jewel Perth, a 100% clean sweep. Would you say that the crystal ball is finally working its magic?
Yeah.
We got to give a shout out to the crystal ball here. Play the crystal ball theme.
Yeah.
But Slick Vic, you know what? I got another theme for you that I think you're going to enjoy. This is something that I believe is appropriate for this occasion. And I want you to soak it all in. I want you to enjoy it. And here it is, my friend. All right. You totally botched the towel throw, but that's okay.
I can do it standing up. I swear to God, I can do it standing up.
I believe you. Well, Slick Vic, that means that, and I thought about this, I think we should give you some extra points for a perfect score. What do you think? Do you think you should get extra points, or do you want to stick to the average here?
Oh man, just keep spoiling me now. What are these extra points?
Well, I think if you get a perfect score, if you get a clean sweep, you should definitely be in line for some extra points. Is all I'm saying.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'll let you decide that. I think that it's warranted. But just to give a recap, that we've been doing this since SummerSlam 2025, Slick Vic's picks. And SummerSlam killed him a little bit. SummerSlam was a 2-night event. There were 12 matches. He got 6 of them right. They gave him a 50% average, but, it's been a steady climb since then to 55 to 56. And now with Crown Jewel all the way up to 64, 18 out of 28. So right now your official average sits at 64%, and that's a pretty damn good number. I think going forward from here, you can make up some ground pretty quick. But I do think that we might have to do something special if you're going to continue to be Mr. Perfect. So we'll figure that out by the next episode, ladies and gentlemen. But a clean sweep for Slick Vic. And finally, he's got his crystal ball, he's got his libations, he's got his gimmicks. Everything is working for him like clockwork, and we couldn't be happier here on Wrestling with Power.
I got one thing to say to that. Woo!
Woo! I'll give you one as well. You had 5 of them tonight. You never heard the negative sound, the incorrect sound, because there wasn't one. There was no negative sound tonight. What do you say we talk a little bit about Raw, and then we talk a little bit about some horror movies, and then we bring this show to an end. We got a whole Monday Night Raw to get through. Monday Night Raw from October. I about said November. October the 13th, 2025. Just a mere 3 days ago. And this was a rather exciting Monday Night Raw, Slick Vic. A lot going on in this episode. The show starts with Seth Rollins and The Vision, along with Paul Heyman, coming down to the ring. Rollins says this night is about him, but he talks up his Vision comrades and Heyman as well. Seth goes on to say that he doesn't need the Vision, but rather he chose the Vision. Now, this was a fairly lengthy little promo, but I'm summarizing here. And I thought this was an interesting segment. Noticed the look on Braun Breaker's face at the end, and I think that said it all. After Seth said that he didn't need them and that he accomplished everything on his own, could this be the downfall of the Vision already? I would hope not, but writing is on the wall after this one, so we'll see how it goes. How did you think that this opening segment fared, Slick Vic?
When Seth was going on about how he doesn't need the Vision and whatnot, and he was putting himself over so strongly. And then you look at Braun Breaker. Yeah, he was given some, I don't know if they were just, at first I thought, they're just teasing it, kind of like how every time Randy Orton is with Cody, he eyeballs the hell out of the world title, and they haven't triggered on that yet.
Yeah.
I figured, okay, maybe they're going to do something down the line. I always knew Braun Breaker is going to turn babyface eventually. But yeah, going back, I'm like, yeah, he's certainly making faces. Mm-hmm. And I noticed the crowd was calling Seth a wanker again.
Yeah.
And I believe he replied with calling the crowd wankers themselves.
So I guess
wankery.
There's a lot of wankers. My question though is, you mentioned something there with Randy Orton always eyeballing the championship. Is this how your eyeballs work whenever the Devil's Kiss is on your television screen?
You mean, is there a certain parts of the Devil's Kiss that I focus my attention on?
Yeah, every time you're there with your wife and you're watching wrestling and, you can't help but eyeball the Devil's Kiss. Are you one of these people that, you can't help but look away, or while it's going on, you're trying to stare at the ceiling and the lights and whatever else is going, oh, there's a fly in the room, I better go get that, type of thing.
No, usually when the Devil's Kiss comes up, I remind my wife this. I watch wrestling for the plot.
Yeah, I read the articles.
Yeah.
That's why my Playboy subscription has been for the last 15 years. I love the articles.
Yeah, a lot of juicy reads there.
Yeah, absolutely. Going forward from this, we have an Intercontinental Championship title match. Dominic Mysterio, the champion, versus Penta. All right, so this was a fun match, and I thought it had a lot of high spots from both men and a good amount of back and forth. What I was pretty surprised about, Vic, the crowd was heavily in Dom's favor, even booing Penta's offense at times. We got some Eddie chants, some 619 chants, and eventually Rusev starts to head ringside, and Dom makes a run for it, grabbing his titles. Penta takes out the oncoming Rusev, and Dom grabs the ring bell hammer and his Intercontinental title and heads back into the ring. Dom drops the title, so the ref sees it when he turns around. So the ref turns around, he sees the belt laying there, he grabs it, he goes to hand it back to the timekeeper. While this is going on, Dom uses the hammer to smash Penta in the knee. Dom then stuffs the hammer in his boot and hits Penta with a 619 and a frog splash for the win. Wow. So, my thoughts. You might not agree with... I know you're not going to agree with this. Dom is super over, but I don't feel the same about him. It's not that he isn't good, but I'm just not on the Dom hype train. I knew he wouldn't lose the title here, but I would rather have seen Rusev beat him, or I would love to see Penta get a run with the title. But we have Dom. I know you're a big fan of Dom. Slick Vic, what do you think about this match?
Monday Night Penta once again. So, man, the end with the hammer, you just described it really well. It was freaking hilarious. I was chuckling, was grinning from ear to ear. It was good stuff. I think I mentioned this in the past where if Dom is almost doing too many crowd pleasing type moves because he's getting cheers, and I'm like, isn't he supposed to be a heel? But I think we discussed. I don't know if we discussed this or I discussed this with my wife, where it's like, why isn't Dom getting booed anymore? He's not with any girls. That's
true. That's a big thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he was with Rhea Ripley, and he was with Liv Morgan. It sounded like he was going to be with Roxanne Perez, but they haven't really done anything. They haven't done anything together other than the fact that they're both in the Judgment Day.
Yeah.
So Dom's almost like a cowardly babyface.
Yeah.
Because the reactions he's getting are totally babyface, and I was really surprised that there was some boos for Penta. But there was this one segment backstage right before the match started where Rusev was arguing with Penta, and Dom walks by and he sees Rusev and he's like backpedals.
Yeah, he takes off.
Yeah, that was hilarious. It's an interesting dynamic though, because for one, I love Penta. I love to see him with the IC title. I love how Dom also cowers away from Rusev, and I think him just keep him sneaking by in subsequent matches would be fun to watch.
It is fun to watch, yeah. But it's got to catch up to him eventually.
It will, for sure. I think I've mentioned this before, or I'm going to mention this later. Yeah, I'm going to mention this later. There's a lot of buying time, I feel, until Liv Morgan comes back.
Yes.
Especially with the girls.
Yeah. That's going to be an interesting dynamic when she finally comes back. And maybe they're keeping the title on him to wait for that moment, because maybe she's going to play into him eventually losing it. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, good points. Solid points, Vic. Forward from this, we have a backstage segment. LA Knight and CM Punk are arguing over the world title contendership backstage. We have another backstage segment of Asuka and Kairi Sane. Asuka is pissed that Kairi lost at Crown Jewel, and she tells her that she will face Rhea Ripley tonight. Kairi shows off a bruise on her head that she blames she got trying to help Asuka, and then she gets the bejesus slapped out of her by Asuka in return. Wow, that was a hard-ass slap. Slick Vic.
Yeah, I wrote down slap the taste out of her mouth.
Slap the taste right out of it. Definitely wanting to see Kairi get a hold of Asuka now, and I feel like it's only a matter of time, but as we will see with the upcoming match, not yet. So we have Rhea Ripley versus Kairi Sane. And in this match, we get a fired-up Kairi being pretty aggressive in the early going, but Rhea's power puts her down each time. Asuka and Io fight to the outside. Start to fight on the outside, and Kairi dives out on Io to help her pal. Back from the break, Rhea and Kairi are back in the ring. Rhea gets off some offense, but Kairi avoids a razor's edge and a riptide to buy some time. Kairi runs Rhea into the post on the apron, sending her outside, then lands an insane elbow, leading to a near fall for Kairi. Rhea comes back with a razor's edge and a big kick for a near fall of her own. Kairi comes back again with another string of offense, but eventually she is caught in a riptide that seals the deal for Rhea to pick up a pinfall. Post-match, Rhea is about to put Asuka through the announce table when Kairi comes out swinging for the fences with a kendo stick. Rhea gets suplexed on the table by Asuka. It doesn't break, by the way, as the Kabuki Warriors stand tall. This turned out to be a pretty solid match. Kairi was on point. I think it's kind of odd that they would leave Perth with Rhea having to be helped out backstage after getting beat down, but hey, she got a win, so I guess it's fair play. What did you think of all this, Vic?
I'm of mixed feelings on this entire match here, because for one, I kind of wanted Rhea Ripley to show off some more strength, some more big moves, because she's wrestling a much smaller opponent. And instead, we got basically an evenly matched match. And that's both good and bad, because like I said, I would have liked to seen Rhea just hit some more power moves. But at the same time, I'm glad it wasn't just like a squash match.
Yeah. Kairi was especially aggressive during this one.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, I don't think I've ever saw her this aggressive in a match.
Yeah. And, I always thought Rhea does better with smaller opponents anyways. But, I don't know. I just thought this was just an okay match. I have it right here, like leftovers from Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, great. But, I don't know. And also, like their match yesterday, I did feel like it was kind of long.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good points. Backstage segment, Jey Uso's telling Jimmy that they should be looking out for themselves instead of trying to help Roman. Jimmy tells Jey to handle his business and he will take care of his own. And of course, this leads to a match where we have Bronson Reed versus Jimmy Uso. So Jimmy shows up and takes it straight to Reed, but seemingly to little avail. Back from a break, we see Jimmy with some taped up ribs. He rallies back against Reed for a while, but the injured ribs keep taking their toll with Jimmy's offense. Every move that he hits hurts himself. Jimmy fails at hitting an Uso splash, and his ribs give out. I put Uso splash. That wasn't true. He was going for a Samoan drop. So that was my bad on the notes. So Jimmy tried to Samoan drop Bronson Reed, and his ribs just gave out on him. Reed crashes down on top of him, and then Reed follows it up with 2 sentons and a tsunami for the win. Post-match, Braun Breaker hits the ring and spears Jimmy twice. Jey heads out to try and help his brother and manages to clear the Vision from the ring. Thoughts on this? No way Reed was losing after that win against Roman at Crown Jewel, but I'm surprised Jimmy was able to get in as much offense as he did. Otherwise, this was kind of a nothing match for me. What about you, Vic? What did you think of this one?
Well, I'm going to use our catchphrase here. It was just a run-of-the-mill Bronson Reed match here. I mean, Jimmy hit some decent-looking offense, but whenever Bronson takes control, the match just slows down tremendously. The pace just goes out the window. But luckily, it was short. I didn't think Jey would come out at the end because of the bickering backstage. But even though he helped them, you can see there's still dissension among the ranks.
Yeah.
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 One quick thing. One quick thing I want to mention. You touched on it earlier, is the LA Knight and Punk promo. I want to see this feud. I really, really want to see a one-on-one feud with LA Knight and CM Punk. I think it'd be great.
Yeah, it would. It would. But they keep getting thrown in multi-man matches with other people.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we'll see it at some point. But as of now, and we'll even see a little bit later, they don't get the one-on-one just yet. So, from the Jimmy Uso and Bronson Reed match, we have a match of Bayley and Lyra versus Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez. And Slick Vic, I didn't have anything for this match. I mean, it was, again, run-of-the-mill. I didn't think anything was special about this. I will say this. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, they've been working their asses off. They've been in matches every single Monday. They've been doing phenomenal. They've been carrying the weight of this show by putting on these matches, 10, 15-minute long matches. They've been doing great. But at this point, you start to notice, okay, another Judgment Day Girls match. Okay, another Judgment Day Girls. And it's like it goes on. And then the Bayley and Lyra thing, that's been going on for a while. Finally, we see Bayley come back. Okay, she's got the split personality thing going on. But it's sort of stalled for the last couple of weeks where we know that she has her happy side and she has her rage side. And we are expecting this to fall apart at some point and get Bayley versus Lyra, but they're dragging it out so hard. And this week, they just happened to drag it right through a Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez match, which we have every single week. So, run-of-the-mill, time killer, even at times, maybe a bathroom break. What did you like about this, if anything?
Well, I'll tell you I mean, the only thing I really liked was I was just waiting to see what Bayley would do. But as you know, I have it right here in my notes too. Another run-of-the-mill match. It's a so-so match. The only moment worth waiting for was the end when Bayley got slapped by Lyra, which set her off. But you mentioned this with the Judgment Day. It's like, how long have these two teams been feuding? It seems like for the past 4 weeks, we've had various combinations of these matches. Like this week it's Lyra versus Raquel. The next week it's Lyra versus Roxanne. Then it's Bayley versus Raquel. Then Bayley versus Roxanne. Now we got a tag team match.
Yeah,
we've done every possible combination of this just to keep dragging it out. It's like, are we doing this until Liv Morgan comes back?
Exactly. I mean, you would go you would imagine that they have a list. Oh, we already did that. Okay, let's do this. Oh, we already did that. Okay, let's do. And they're just using them over and over and over. You know, very similar to Penta, who's performing every week and putting on good matches. The Judgment Day girls, they put on good matches, but they're not really involved in anything particularly important. So, I don't know. Run of the mill.
Later on in the night, I think they're finally going to move on from this feud because, yeah, I'm sure you'll get to it.
Will I? Do they move on from this feud?
Well, there's a Stephanie Vaquer promo.
Yeah, I didn't notate the Stephanie Vaquer promo. But I remember what happened, so yes.
Okay.
So yeah, then maybe they are moving on to something else, hopefully.
Hopefully.
From that, we get a backstage segment. This is continuing the Vision angle. Seth Rollins is talking to Paul Heyman and his Vision teammates. He says something big is on the horizon, and that watching the Braun's progress since joining him has been one of his life's greatest moments. He says he's on cloud 9. He says this is just, he's absolutely living life right now as Seth Rollins. And then we get another backstage segment. Dom comes complaining to Adam Pearce, who is standing by with AJ Styles. And Dom is basically stating that he is the only fighting champion. AJ agrees and suggests that Balor and JD should defend their tag titles against him and Dragon Lee next week. Pierce makes the match official and thanks Dom for his good idea.
Yes, I'm laughing because I have pretty much, I noted the same thing. I thought this was freaking hilarious. It's like, Dom, you are an inspiration.
Yep. Then he sends Dom off to break the news to the tag team champions. After that is when we get the Stephanie Vaquer promo. Well, it's sort of a little promo. She comes out on stage, and there's Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez coming out and talking some Spanish to her and some smack. And Roxanne and Stephanie get in each other's faces, and they argue a little bit. And that's it. I didn't really have notes for it. I kind of remember.
I just want to say one thing about that promo was Stephanie showed a lot more fire here. She was being less humble than her usual self. And
that's true, yes.
When Roxanne stepped up to her, she fired back, saying, I will wait for you in my infierno. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, cool.
Now we're getting some fire, almost literally, too.
Yeah, it was cool.
Just talking about, because I'm getting sick of the whole humble routine that Stephanie's been doing week after week.
Yeah. Yeah, where she's all like, how do you feel about winning? Well, I'm just so grateful, and I'm just so happy. And that's not the Stephanie Vaquer I don't think people want to see. They want to see this kick-ass version of her that's just, gonna clean out the mess. So
right.
From that, we're on to our main event, it looks like. We have a triple threat match. CM Punk versus Jey Uso versus LA Knight. I feel like we've been here before. But, this crowd loves Punk. They are cheering for Punk wholeheartedly. And it's too bad that he gets tossed right out of the ring at the beginning of it. Knight does a dive kick to Punk. Then Jey comes flying after Knight, and everyone is on the outside into a commercial break. We come back, and Knight and Jey are trading punches in the ring when Punk comes flying off the top rope, taking out both men. Jey and Punk trade the upper hand while simultaneously keeping Knight knocked down in the corner. Punk hits his shitty elbow drop on Knight, but can't follow through with the attempted GTS. Knight finally gets the upper hand now as we head into another commercial break. And when we come back, he is nowhere to be found. Knight shows back up eventually, and all three men take shots at each other until everyone is down. Knight hits a BFT on Punk, goes for the pin, but is pulled out of the ring by Jey, who goes up for an Uso splash, but eats the knees of CM Punk on the landing. Punk hits the GTS on Jey and picks up the pinfall. Everything considered, Slick Vic, not a bad match at all. I wasn't looking forward to taking notes for a triple threat, but they seem to have fairly even and easy to follow match here. Everyone looked good, and the crowd favorite took the W. Post-match, the Vision enters the arena. Breaker spears Jey and Knight. Then the Bronze gang up on Punk. My thoughts. Is it just me, or have Breaker's 25-mile-per-hour spears not been as impressive as of late? Seems like he just does not connect as hard anymore. Anyway, as the show credits roll, Seth is parading around the ring with his title when suddenly Braun Breaker spears Rollins out of his skin. Heyman is acting shocked over this. Bronson Reed then hits a tsunami on Rollins, and Breaker grabs the world title. Paul Heyman holds Reed and Breaker's hands high to close the show. Wow, what an ending. I can at least say I was not expecting that outcome this soon. Not real sure I like the decision either. I really wanted to see the Bronze take over the tag division, but it seems more like they're pushing Breaker right into the world title picture sooner than later. And that is Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen. Slick Vic, your thoughts?
Well, I thought this was great. This is a great action from start to finish. Everyone got their shit in. All three men are over. There's CM Punk chants every time Jay's on offense. You hear the Yeet chant. Every time Knight's on offense, we get yeah. And I had a good time with the match. I thought like I said, it was just fast paced and everyone's hitting their signature moves. And I'm fine with Punk going over. Although, is he going to face Rollins? Is he going to face... I think they've established he's going to face Rollins. But, LA Knight will get his turn, his time, hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you catch the fact that Jay or Punk knocked Jay's grill out of his mouth when he hit him with the GTS?
No.
Punk like grabs it like yoink. Puts it in like, I guess, like, he's got no pockets, but he just kind of grabs it. And,
I didn't catch that, man. That's awesome, though.
yeah. Yeah. And then the finale, the post-credit scene, if you will. That was a surprise.
Big surprise.
Yeah. Although, we're looking back, it's like, that Braun was making those faces at the start of the show. So I wasn't sure because, Randy Orton's been teasing the Cody thing for a while and hasn't done it. So maybe this is just, a seed planted for a potential future turn. But no, it happened right away.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, great Raw. It was all wrapped up in this Vision angle where I cannot wait to see what happens next week. And I'm always very happy when I feel like I have to be there to watch Raw. You know what I mean? I can't just catch the highlights. I have to be there to watch it live. And I will. I'll be there to watch it live this Monday. But that was Monday Night Raw. We've gave you the SmackDown review from October the 10th, the Crown Jewel review from October the 11th, and Raw from October the 13th. Of course, Slick Vic's picks where he got a clean sweep tonight, 5 out of 5. Guessed correctly. Mr. Perfect, he might have to upgrade his title from the Oracle to Mr. Perfect. We'll have to see how that goes. But we're going to leave you guys with a little something here to celebrate the October Halloween holiday, and as we've been doing past couple of weeks. First week, a couple episodes ago, we gave you top 3 horror movies that Vic and I enjoy. Last week, we gave you our top 3 horror movie sequels and or prequels that we enjoy. This week, we're going to take it in a different direction a little bit, and we're going to give you the top 3 worst horror movie sequels. So these are movies that you can absolutely avoid. And Slick Vic, I'm going to let you take it away with your top 3.
All right. So my first pick is easily one of my all-time least favorite horror movies of all time. I just said that twice. But anyways, I found out that this movie does actually have its own fan base, and that's fine. That's cool. I'm not part of it, though. And the movie is Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. This is the one with Matthew McConaughey with the mechanical leg, and Renee Zellweger as I guess she's there. Her and her friends are out in prom, and they get mixed up with the family of cannibals. Leatherface is terrible in this movie. There's like this conspiracy, like Illuminati type thing going on at the end of the movie that makes no sense and is also really, really dumb. I do not enjoy this movie. I do not recommend anyone watch it. So that's my first pick.
Not even for Matthew McConaughey in his early acting career?
Go watch Dazed and Confused instead.
Okay, fair enough.
If you want to see early McConaughey in a good movie, go watch Dazed and Confused.
Right on.
All right.
All right. Yes, that's it. All right. Okay.
What about you, Mr. Mosley? You gotta tell us your pick for one of your least favorite horror movies.
Show me the money. All right. So, well, if I have to go with one, you know what? I'm gonna pull one out here. This is a fairly recent one. It's Halloween Ends.
Oof.
So Halloween Ends is a big stinker. And I'll just go ahead and say, growing up, I was a huge fan of Friday the 13th. I'm still a huge fan of Friday the 13th. Fairly big fan of, and we're talking about like these big, horror series that have multiple sequels. Nightmare on Elm Street, maybe not as big as Friday the 13th, but definitely a fan. Halloween was one that it was hard for me to get captured by, but I have seen all of the Halloween movies. And having said that, this one just did not deliver whatsoever. You know, you see Michael Myers, he's living in like a sewer or something. And I've never understood what Michael Myers is. He seems like he's a regular dude, but he keeps coming back, and there's no explanation for it. And you know, this movie, towards the end, actually the very ending scene, everybody in the neighborhood comes out and beats the shit out of him and shoots him and does every dastardly thing you can think of. And he just pops up and murders them all. And that's it. And that's supposed to be the ending to the Halloween series, apparently. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe who knows? He's an old man in this. His mask is all charred and burnt. And it's supposed to be the ending, but it ends with him killing everybody again. So, not much of an ending. And you've just got the whole time, everybody's like, we got to get Michael. We got to get... Man, it's just... To be supposedly the climax of the series, somewhat anticlimactic, and again, run of the mill. A lot of murdering going on. Not a lot of progression. What about you, Vic? Halloween Ends. How did that fare for you?
Well, there's one thing that sticks out to me when I think of this movie, that Michael Myers is almost like not even the main villain in this movie. Do you remember the Corey character?
Yeah.
There's the teenager. He's basically the main villain of this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Like, why?
I don't know.
Exactly. Like, this was a creative choice that I think was dumb. I thought it was stupid. And like, you making Michael Myers, they didn't try to make Michael Myers a sympathetic character or anything, but they just inserted, they have this character, I guess is inspired by Michael. It's been a while since I've seen it, but no, I mean, I did not like the idea of including another villain in the movie.
Yeah.
It took away from the whole climactic battle between Laurie and Michael.
Exactly. And the whole point is Halloween Ends. Make it about...
Yeah.
End it, end it some way.
Yeah.
It didn't end anything, I don't think. It just kind of, I don't know, it was stupid.
Yeah.
It was stupid. You can miss this movie, ladies and gentlemen, if you're fans of the Halloween series. I can't say that this is one you need to watch.
Speaking of major horror movie franchise, you mentioned Nightmare on Elm Street. And I'm going to have to pick, for my second choice, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, which is the 6th entry in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. Now, this movie, there are actual times where I can watch it and be like, that was funny. That was okay. That got a chuckle out of me. But then I'll rewatch that same scene. I'll be like, why did they do this? This is so stupid. This is, they go. This is the epitome of them going so far with the comedy, because as the Elm Street movies progressed, they became more and more comedic, less and less scary, and this was the crescendo. This was the one where it was like a 1 out of 10 on horror and 9 out of 10 on like Looney Tunes style comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in the mood for that, you might have a good time. Sometimes I'm in the mood for it. Most of the time I'm not. I like a good balance of cynical Freddy and scary Freddy. His makeup looks like shit. And there's even a scene where he's like, you forgot the power glove. He's got a freaking power glove on with his actual glove. It's laughable. At the beginning, they even parody Wizard of Oz, where he's like riding on his broomstick saying, "I'll come for your soul, my pretty." Yeah, I have a lot of problems with this movie, but like I said, there is an occasional moment where I'll revisit it and get a chuckle, but most of the time I'm just kind of like, why did they do this?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that was part 6. What was part 5?
Part 5 was The Dream Child.
The Dream Child. And, okay, so part 3 was The Dream Warriors?
The Warriors. Yeah, yes, Dream Warriors.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And then 4 was
The Dream Master.
the Dream Master. So 3 and 4 kind of go in with each other. Like 4 is a sequel to 3, clearly, with some of the same characters and stuff.
Yeah, and so is 5.
And 5, okay.
Actually, 4 and 5 might be closer to 3 and 4 because they have the same final girl. 4 and 5 have the same final girl. But part 3 and 4, like basically the survivors of part 3 all get killed off in the beginning of part 4.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah.
The Dream Warriors are all killed off at the beginning.
So then part 5 and then part 6, did that, because I don't remember specifically, did that just have different lead characters altogether?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like basically it starts off with the Freddy tormenting one kid, but he doesn't kill him because he's the last kid of Elm Street, and so Freddy needs him to go get him some more kids to kill.
Yeah, okay.
And you get a flashback where Alice Cooper plays Freddy's father.
Yeah, because I really like part 3 and part 4.
Yeah, those are good ones.
Part 4 is one of my favorite. Yeah, part 3 is probably the best. But I love part 4 because you have all those same characters coming back, and then they just start getting killed, and you're like, oh, shit. Like, what's going on?
Well, the Dream Warriors all get killed off in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. A dog pisses fire, which resurrects Freddy. I'm not making this up.
Oh man. All right, so I'm gonna give my second one then, Slick Vic. Since you've gave us 2, I'll give my second one, and I'll go with one that we mentioned before, actually. And we mentioned before that it sucks and that you should avoid it, but I'm gonna mention it again here. Is Friday the 13th Part 9. I think it's subtitled The Final Friday, Jason Goes to Hell. So, this movie, well, I'm trying to think of good things about it. Jason looks okay. He looks kind of cool. His mask is mostly gone by this movie. His head is all swelled up, and I don't know what's going on with him, but what little bit you get to see of Jason in this movie is kind of cool. It's sort of a continuation of what we see before. We get to see Kane Hodder. He plays as a security guard in this movie. That's interesting. So Jason is playing two different... The guy who plays Jason is also, there in the movie. But by and large, this is a trash movie. There's not really any Jason in it other than, like, the beginning. Other than that, Jason is sort of like this demon worm that's going around and like infecting people. And there's some random guy who's like, you got to stab him with the dagger. And then he's got the dagger and you got to stab him in the heart with the dagger. And it's just, oh man, it's just so bad. It's not anything like a Friday the 13th movie should be. I think one saving grace for this movie is at the very, very end when you see Jason is dead and his mask is laying there. You see Freddy's glove come up out of the ground and grab it and like pull it underground. And that's what set up the whole thing about Freddy versus Jason. Now, Jason Goes to Hell came out, I don't remember what year it came out. Probably 96, 97?
93.
93, okay, I'm a little bit ahead of it. But it came out in 93. Jason versus Freddy, or Freddy versus Jason, came out way later than that.
2003.
2003, so 10 years later. But this movie sort of set up the Freddy versus Jason thing. And I don't know if it was just in like development hell for a long time, or they couldn't figure out how to make it happen. But that was the coolest part of the entire thing, was seeing Freddy's glove come up out of the end and grab Jason's mask. Other than that, which is a clip I'm sure you can pull up on YouTube, you can totally miss this one. If you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of the Jason Friday the 13th series, don't watch this. Don't watch it. Just completely avoid it.
I agree 100%. Jason Goes to Hell, the Final Friday. is without any hesitation the worst one in the series. You know, worse than Jason Takes Manhattan, worse than A New Blood.
No. Hold on a second. No, worse than Jason. Listen, Jason Takes Manhattan is a sufficient Friday the 13th movie, and I will argue that until the day I die. Come on now.
I like A New Beginning. I like A New Beginning a lot. A lot of people lump that as one of the worst ones. I disagree.
What?
Because it's no Jason.
A New Beginning had more Friday the 13th soul than a lot of...
Jason Goes to Hell.
Well, yeah, than that one, than a lot of them, really. I mean, it harkened back to the original movies. You know? I love Part 5.
Anyways, going back to Jason Goes to Hell. I remember the first 5 minutes, which I actually quite enjoy, where there's like like a lady in the woods getting naked.
Yeah.
She's just there to draw out Jason.
We know you enjoyed that part, Vic.
Yeah. There was 2 good reasons for that scene. Anyways, then she lures Jason out to get to an ambush where, like a SWAT team comes out and they just, fire away at him, and then they drop a bomb on him, and he blows up. And then the movie goes to hell.
Yeah,
like literally. There's this fun scene though where Kane Hodder plays one of the security guards in that movie. I think you mentioned this.
Yeah,
he plays one of the security guards. You remember he's like Jason's just a big old pussy or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is not a Friday the 13th movie. This whole body swapping thing. Maybe if they called it something else other than Friday, and it didn't have Jason, and it was just a simple body swapping movie, it might have been okay. But no, this is stupid. Jason's got a sister now? Is that what Jason's got a sister?
Yeah.
9 movies in, he's got a sister?
Yeah. I forgot all about the sister.
It's like Fast and the Furious did this too. With 9 movies in, John Cena gets introduced as Vin Diesel's brother.
Yeah.
Like 9 movies in, we introduced family that never existed. 8 movies in the previous 8 movies.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know. Maybe they weren't thinking. Maybe that's the problem.
No. Oh, well, one other thing I will agree with you. The mask, I actually do like the look of Jason in this movie. A lot of people do not, but I do like how his skin is his head is getting so big, like it's growing around the mask kind of. I thought that was kind of cool.
His mask has been damaged so much that most of it's gone on the outside, and his skin's just growing around it.
Yeah. I think the best looking Jason is from Friday 7. Which is the first one that Kane Hodder played, where you can see his spinal cord whenever his back is turned.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Zombie Jason.
Yeah. All right. So my pick for my 3rd least favorite horror movie sequel. Are we? I guess we're doing sequels here.
Mm-hmm. Or prequels. It'd be fun. Prequels.
Yeah. What did I pick for this? Oh yeah. Silent Hill Revelations. Mm-hmm. Now, I am a big fan of the Silent Hill games, and I still think the first Silent Hill movie is one of the better video game adaptations we've ever seen. I think it's a solid, very solid horror film. It does take liberties with the source material, a lot of liberties, but it still feels like a Silent Hill movie. It still feels like it's in the same spirit of the games. And there's a sequel out. I mean, not a sequel. They are making a adaptation of Silent Hill 2 who by the same guy who made the original Silent Hill movie, which I'm looking forward to. But Silent Hill Revelations was freaking terrible. This was a very loosely adaptation of Silent Hill 3. And I remember seeing this in the theater, and that was the last time I saw it because it was fucking terrible. I walked out there. It's funny. I don't know how often you feel this way, but whenever I walk out of a theater and if I'm angry, I'm like, man, that movie sucked. It's really hard to make me angry when I watch a movie. But Silent Hill 2 and Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen are the two movies that made me that I walked out of angry. I'm like, what the fuck, man? How did you fuck that up so badly? Yeah. So Silent Hill Revelations, terrible, terrible movie.
Well, I haven't seen that movie. I've not even saw the first one. And as far as Transformers go, I don't think I've seen any Transformers movie other than the first one, which I thought was pretty damn good.
Yeah,
so
that was decent. It was decent.
I've saved myself from all of this trash, apparently.
Yeah.
But I do want to watch the first one now that you put it over a little bit, Vic.
Yeah. Very, very worth watching.
Wait,
Silent Hill.
Has it got a subtitle, or is it just Silent Hill?
No, just Silent Hill from like 2006, 2007, something like that.
Yeah. I don't trust video game movie adaptations. I am such a big Resident Evil fan that I own all of the Resident Evil movies, but I can't vouch for any of them because they're all kind of trash except for the second one, which is actually pretty good. But even it in its own way is kind of trash. So,
man,
at least it had Nemesis. That was cool.
Yeah.
I look over to my beer and it's just like foam is coming out of the top of it for some reason. I don't know why that is. It's just like foaming out. Anyway.
Man, I want to shit on some Resident Evil movies with you right now, but
we might do that some other time.
I want to hear your pick for the third movie. For your third movie.
Yeah, okay. So, my third movie is Pumpkinhead 2. I'll mention, last episode, actually, not the last episode, the episode before last, when we went over our top 3 horror movies that you should watch for this October Halloween season. Pumpkinhead was one of my choices. It is one of my favorite horror movies ever, for various reasons, and you can go back and listen to episode 11 if you want to hear more on that and my thoughts on Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead 2, however, is not good. For starters, Pumpkinhead, the original movie, was a professionally done motion picture by a professional studio with professional actors, with professional makeup artists and all this. Pumpkinhead 2 is one of those movies I can't say for sure who directed it or anything like that, but I can say that it did not have any notable actors. It did not have any... There's no way that the original director or writer had anything to do with this. It was like somebody took the idea of the Pumpkinhead monster and just stuck it in a completely different story. Where instead of it being the Demon of Vengeance, where you call upon Pumpkinhead to get vengeance for something, you've been wronged. Somebody's killed your friend and you want to get revenge on them, so you call up Pumpkinhead to go kill them. This was instead a story about a kid who was deformed, severely deformed, and who was bullied and picked on and beaten up by some teenagers back in like the 50s, and he was thrown into a well and killed. And then, 30 or 40 years or whatever, he comes back as the demon Pumpkinhead. So now the soul of this boy who was bullied and beat up and killed comes back within the body or the vessel or whatever of Pumpkinhead, the monster, and starts killing all these people. It's not good. If you like the original movie, Pumpkinhead 2 is not a worthy sequel. I will say that they went on to make Pumpkinhead 3 and 4, which are worthy sequels, especially Part 4. Part 3 was sort of a prequel to everything, but Part 4 was more of a sequel to the first one. And even though I think they were sort of like made for Sci-Fi Channel movies, they still were worthy sequels story-wise. But Pumpkinhead 2 is definitely, and this is a movie that when I was a kid, I rented over and over and over, and I watched the crap out of it as a kid because I was just obsessed with like scary horror movie things. So if you're looking for that, I mean, if you're looking for, a big monster that comes around and kills stuff, sure. But as far as like comparing it to the original, the production of the original, the story of the original, it's garbage. I don't think it should have ever had the Pumpkinhead 2. I don't think it should have ever had 2 wrote on it. I think they did that to sell it. But yeah, it's it's trash, man. It's trash. But one of the main guys who is one of the kids who kills the deformed kid back in the day is like the mayor or the sheriff of the town or something. And like there's a scene where Pumpkinhead, when he comes back and he's killing all these people, he gets a hold of this guy. And it's this scary scene, supposed to be this scary scene, but then it zooms in on this guy's face and he goes, "What the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?" And that scene just lives rent-free in my head because it's so bad. This is not a movie that's so bad that it's good. This is just a bad movie. But I will say that, a young me loved it enough to rent it multiple times over and over. So, that says something. Vic, have you ever seen Pumpkinhead 2?
I can't say that I have, and I don't know if I will anytime soon now. Well, I've only seen the first one. I have not seen any of the sequels.
You got part 3 is like a weird Hatfield and McCoy Family Feud type thing.
Okay.
But it's not bad. It's not a bad movie. And then part 4 is more a sequel to part 1, where it's actually got Lance Henriksen in it. He comes back as like the spirit. He's like a ghost or whatever. I don't know how to explain it, but not bad. 3 and 4, not bad. 2, trash. So there it is. Top 3 worst horror movie sequels not to watch this October Halloween season. Pumpkinhead 2, Friday the 13th, Part 9, Jason Goes to Hell, and Halloween Ends. And of course, Slick Vic, your picks were?
I had Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. I had Silent Hill Revelations. And the worst of the bunch was Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
Well, with that, we are going to bring the show to a close. I want to let everybody know beforehand we have been live on YouTube the past couple of weeks, last week's episode and this week's episode. However, we do have a Twitch account made, which is twitch.com/wrestlingwithpower. I think maybe next week, Slick Vic, we might try to go live on Twitch and see how that goes, just to test it out. So everybody out there, head on over to Twitch. If you already have a Twitch account, make sure you add us on there, twitch.com/wrestlingwithpower, and of course, facebook.com/wrestlingwithpower, where you can see all of our live updates as they happen throughout the week, anything that we decide we're going to post on there. Our episodes, links to those episodes, both on Spotify and YouTube. You can find us on both of those platforms. On Spotify, just search up Wrestling with Power. You're going to find us there. YouTube.com/@Wrestling with Power podcast, where we are live right now and maybe in the future. But like I said, I think we may test out Twitch next week just to see how that goes, and see who's all on the Twitch platform there. I've live streamed on Twitch quite a bit in my day, Slick Vic, doing a lot of video games on there. But we may take Wrestling with Power over to Twitch starting next week and just see how it goes there. Don't know how you feel about that, Slick Vic, but hopefully you feel good. Hopefully you feel.
I'm all in.
Hopefully you feel perfect. All right, that's enough of that.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Slick Vic, before we close out the show? Any wishes that you want to give the people?
Well, As always, thank you for listening, and I wish you all the best in your future endeavors.
Yes, thank you all for listening, and stay powerful, everybody. Till next time.